Moving on, Jerusalem may be one of the most holiest cities on earth, but it's one of the worst places in Israel to live. A new report by the Israeli Central Bureau of Statistics looking at quality of life across the country in 2020 and ranking the capital as dead last among those cities surveyed. Kfar Saba, meantime, ranking at the top. So what did the CBS look at, and what does this mean? Joining me to discuss is economic consumer behavior expert and assistant professor Vili Abraham. Vili, it's great to have you back with us. Now, were you surprised by this ranking at all?
No, not really. First of all, just a little bit about how the Central Bureau of Statistics did this. What it did is they took 51 cities and categorized them into three categories, which one was above average, average, and below average. So the above average cities were Kfar Saba, Rehovot, Ramat Gan, Rishon LeZion, even Beersheva in the south, and Tel Aviv. And if you look at the average cities, those were Holon, Netanya, Petach Tikva, and Haifa. Now, Jerusalem was among those ranked below average, which includes Bet Shemesh, Ashkelon, Ashdod, Bnei Brak, and Bat Yam. Now, Jerusalem ranked low because of things that are really characterize the Haredi or the religious sector, which is unemployment, pessimism regarding the economic situation in Jerusalem, but it was also access to computers, which the local population was not happy with, dissatisfaction with people's neighborhood or residential area, and also the level of unemployment. And if you look at Tel Aviv, for example, which ranked number 6, and it's considered to be the average city, so people were in general really happy regarding the job opportunities that it offers, the number of school children who are eligible for a matriculation certificate. However, people were not happy, Tel Aviv residents, they were not happy with the life and work balance. And they didn't feel very safe in their neighborhoods. But I think this is more relevant to the south part of Tel Aviv, not central.
So I have to ask you, why, or rather, how were these parameters decided? Because there are obvious ones which you've kind of mentioned, which is cost and size and quality of the apartment, time it takes to get to work, water quality, and things like that. But there are the less obvious ones like, satisfaction with civil involvement or the rate of childhood obesity and the feelings of loneliness. How did they decide on these parameters?
Well, that's a good question. This hasn't been published, but these are the kind of things that do influence people's happiness. If you look at different studies that were conducted, even in Finland, and you look at what makes people happy. So these are the things that make people happy. Their work, their neighborhood, their income, the amount of money that they have to pay for rent or to buy an apartment. All of these things make people happy. So I guess this is what it was based on, but they really didn't make it explicit why they've chosen this measurement or other. Well,
so how big of a grain of salt should we be, taking with this report?
Well, it only really shows that if you look at certain places where there are more Haredi people, usually people are less satisfied because of the economic situation in those areas. However, if you look at places in the center of the country, people are more happy because of the job opportunities that they have, despite the fact that they're paying much more for rent. However, cities that are in the south, the far periphery, or in the north, places like Tzfat, were not included. So it's really interesting to see what people in these places think about their life here in Israel, which isn't really clear. I mean, the farthest we went is Haifa in the north and Beersheva in the south.
All right. Well, we'd love to see an extended report on all of these cities. Until then, Vili Abraham, thank you so much for joining us.
It was a pleasure.